Hey everyone, it's Charles D. Lincoln.
And I'm Chelsea R. Lesage.
I'm making fun of my middle initial. Anyway,
Yeah.
we are the people behind CL Squared Productions doing our little cinematic autopsy. And this week we're going all the way back to 1985, before Chelsea was even born.
I was not even an idea.
Exactly. To talk about the Joe Zito, Chuck Norris film, Invasion U.S.A.
It is really a classic film.
Yeah, what?
It's a classic film.
Oh, yes, it totally is. So, anyway, let's start. Let's get right into this shit.
Let's get right into it. Here we go.
Yeah. So, we start with a lot of really huge 80s fonts, that just cover the whole fucking screen. We open then on a boat in the middle of, I would assume, the area between Cuba and Florida.
Yes.
It's hot. We're down there, it's like 90 degrees all year long. And they're in the middle of the fucking ocean, sun beating down on them, not a single person is sweating.
And not a single person is sunburnt.
Yeah, but they have like one jug of water that they're sharing among 400 people.
There's like 35 people on that boat.
Yeah,
I tried to count and then stopped caring.
Yeah, so then they start talking to each other in Spanish, which is not subtitled. Because according to this movie, if you don't speak English, you don't really matter.
You don't matter.
Yeah. It's pretty much like, learn to speak English, motherfucker! It's pretty much like what the impression I got from that. So, a boat comes by, and tell us a little bit about the little unique nickname you gave our villain, Mikhail Rostov.
Rostov? A.K.A. Captain David Bowie. So it opens up when you see this boat. It's their salvation. It's commanded by Captain David Bowie. And just how it's shot with the music, it's just open water and then this boat comes in. And you see all these people looking at the boat like, what is that? Oh my God, we're saved. And I wrote, is this Jaws? It just seems so much like it. This movie's going to go really badly really soon.
Oh man. So Captain David Bowie then shoots everybody. And there's a lot of people who just kind of convulse a little bit and fall down with no squibs, no fake blood.
This is a large thing that we will be talking about during this, is how no one taught any of these actors how to die on camera. Yeah, like there's just like kind of like a little, like they do like a little like spasm and then just fall down. And there's no blood until everybody is already dead. Yeah, so it's like someone just came on and threw a jug of blood on them.
Yeah. And I noticed this throughout the whole film. There's tons and tons of people being shot with automatic weaponry.
Yep.
And, no one ever has blood coming out of them.
No, never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So they open up the little boat, and it's filled with drugs.
So many drugs.
And the reason why it's filled with drugs is because they want to, of course, let you know that that's how terrorists pay for everything. So if you do your cocaine at the Limelight, or or at Studio 51, or wherever the hell this movie was trying to shame people, like, you're supporting terrorism!
Yes.
And speaking of aggressively supporting things, then the screen is just assaulted with the title.
Assaulted with the title.
Yes, it is the most aggressive fucking title.
I literally screamed.
It's like, Invasion U.S.A, motherfucker! Like, that's like, that's really how it just it fucking punches the goddamn screen.
It punches you right in the gut. It really does.
And then,
are you trying to achieve this? Because you succeeded.
And then it goes right to Chuck, like, what looks like B-roll footage of Chuck Norris just, like...
On a fan boat?
Yeah, on a fan boat in the swamp. Not sweating.
Not sweating, not sunburnt.
Yeah, which is kind of a thing I've noticed throughout the film, that the only people we ever see sweating in this movie are bad guys.
That's true. It's just the Russians. They sweat from Mother Russia.
Yeah, like, we'll see... Well, it's all the vodka.
Yeah.
And, so then it cuts from this bright fucking exterior to another dark exterior. Yes. It cuts to a night exterior, which is really jarring. And then we come across Lois Lane. I'm sorry, the
reporter.
Yeah, the reporter who originally was going to be played, I looked this up, was originally going to be played by Whoopi Goldberg.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes, according to Chuck Norris, Whoopi Goldberg had read the script, and agreed to be in it, and director Chuck Zito said no.
Chuck Zito, is that his name?
Joe Zito, sorry. I'm thinking of the guy who beat the shit out of Jean-Claude Van Damme at Scores a couple years ago. The guy from the show Oz, who also was yeah. He was also like a biker and shit, and he fucking knocked out Jean-Claude Van Damme, which would have been a lot more interesting than this movie. So we then we cut once again to another bright exterior from a night exterior. This movie really likes doing that. It really likes going from like, it's day, no, it's night, no, it's day, and then
nobody knows.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, Chuck Norris's character is Mark Hunter. Which is like the most cliche fucking action. That's like parody level.
It is parody level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just say, going back to the reporter really quick, that I noticed that as soon as they arrived at the scene of the crime and see that the reporter got there faster than the cops, every man on camera immediately shits on her and does not trust her because she's a woman.
Well, yes, of course. That's what women are there for.
Right? Jesus Christ.
It's the 80s. We ain't doing none of that fucking 60s hippie women's lib bullshit.
Yeah, right?
So Mark Hunter is he's wrestling a gator because he's that manly.
I know, I wrote, leave Mr. Gator alone.
Yeah, like they're fucking wrestling a gator with his Native American friend who can comb his chest hair.
I saw that.
Yeah, like that dude had it looked like fucking Zangief from Street Fighter.
No,
or some
he
shit.
turned into a werewolf at full moon. He does.
Like seriously, So then, of course, we have Rostov going to sell drugs in, I think, every fucking 80s parents' worst nightmare of where their children buy drugs from.
Yes. Is this a whorehouse, or is this a drug den, or is it both? I don't understand.
Yeah, they go there. There's all these bored-looking prostitute extras.
Yes.
And they go there, and he sells drugs to Billy Drago, who is, I guess Billy Drago's supposed to be gay or something in the movie, because he certainly seemed to be being played gay.
Yes, he did.
And of course, because it's the 80s, that means that he's obviously evil.
Yeah, of course.
Because, that was one of the lessons that, people who don't speak English, not important. Being gay equals evil. Those are some of the lessons that we learned from this film.
Yeah.
So Billy Drago Rostov, for absolutely no reason whatsoever, smashes a prostitute's face
into cocaine. That was the only time that blood came out of someone, was when the straw that she was doing the cocaine with went up her nose and blood came out. That was the only time in the film that blood came out. I remember watching that as a child and wondering if that was a metal straw or something, because I don't think a little, regular straw would do that much damage to you. I don't know. It's fucked up. So he goes for no apparent reason and shoots this dude in the dick, and the dude does not scream, does not yell, he just slides down the wall with no reaction whatsoever. It was hilarious.
And what's great is that Billy Drago had this whole career of playing these creepy villains and shit. And here they use him for 30 fucking seconds. Mm-hmm. It's you have this great character actor, and then let's not use him at all. So, and Rostov then goes and he after he shoots the dude in the dick, he shoots two of the guy's henchmen and throws the hooker out the fucking window.
Out the window.
And then subtly walks out of the room as if everything he didn't just cause a shitload of noise.
Yes, exactly.
He came from the school of subtle villainy, So,
So we're 15 minutes into the film, and there's already 40 plus people who have been shot.
Yes. And then what happens is, of course, the guy who owns the motel comes in and steals
takes the blow.
Yeah, takes it because we want to show that brown people are evil.
Yes.
Jesus. Yeah, this movie is really this right-wing fucking fever dream. Really. It is like a G.I. Joe episode for the people who think that wearing a mask impinges on their freedoms.
Yeah, exactly.
So, So we go to, and this is, and then of course, but we notice, of course, that by the way, we know also Billy Drago's evil because he's sweating.
He was sweating. You're
yes.
right.
That's
he had
how
a little
we
bit
know
of a tan,
evil.
implying that he had been sunburnt previously.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So, at this point, a man from the government comes to meet with Chuck Norris, and this guy is in a suit, also not sweating, in the middle of a fucking swamp that he has rowed to. Mm-hmm. And I should note that there is so much distance from Chuck Norris to the civilized world that he needs a fan boat.
Yes.
Yet this dude can row to it.
He can row to it. Yes.
This middle-aged man is in such good shape somehow that he can row to it without breaking into a fucking sweat. So we cut to, and then there's a flashback to evil repairman Rostov with his toolbox rocket launcher. And you find out he has PTSD because Mark Hunter kicked him in the face once. Yes.
Yes.
And said, it's time to die, but then kicked him instead of shooting him.
Yes, correctly. Are we at the four, did we get to the 4 horsemen of the fan boats yet?
Oh, yes, that's where we're at right now.
The 4 horsemen of the fan boats, or as I like to call it, the 4 fan boats of the apocalypse. So these 4 fan boats just come through the swamp with just, like, I don't know. It's how did they know where this little shack that Chuck Norris lived in? Like, how did they find out where that was? Also, I loved that little shack, and as soon as I wrote down, I love that little shack, it got blown up. Yes.
It was the armadillo. No, at least the armadillo survived. The armadillo survived.
There's an armadillo in the shack, and he survives. That's the most important part of the film.
Yes. So here's the thing that got me. So Rostov has PTSD from getting kicked in the face, and so he has to kill Mark Hunter. So him and his men, they go there, they blow the fuck out of the place, but then Rostov is, before checking to see if the body is there or anything like that, before checking to see if he's dead, he's just kind of like, that's alright guys, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
For no reason whatsoever. They blow the fuck out of the place, but then they're like, he couldn't have possibly survived that. So we cut then to a very obvious shot of the armadillo before the place has been blown up, escaping.
Yes.
And then we go to the very much not on fire former place where Chuck Norris lived.
Uh-huh.
And it is not on fire so that Chuck Norris can set it on fire in honor of his Native American friend with the chest hair. So,
Jesus Christ. And he also, I just noticed that he always has like the most, it's just pure melodrama with him. And his face never moves.
Yeah,
no matter what is going on.
Chuck Norris does not have a facial expression.
Yeah.
Yes. So then we find out what the plot of the movie is, because Rostov decides he's going to become the source of exposition to his friend Nico, who is another Russian, and apparently the freedoms that America has make us weak. So, they're going to go...
Nobody's invaded them in 200 years.
Yes, exactly. And it fucking, he's gonna redo Normandy with a whole bunch of people from East Germany, Russia, and Cuba, and China.
Yes. And China.
Yes, they're gonna kill a couple having premarital sex.
Yeah.
On a beach.
My favorite thing about that was that I love that he smiles at what's on the TV, at the talk show thing on the TV with the woman from Golden Girls, I assume, at the TV after he shoots the couple.
Oh, well, that shows how old I am. I know who that woman is. That's Phyllis Diller. But so here's the thing that I got about that. Before he shoots the couple, Nico is staring at them like he's never had sex.
Like he's never seen a woman, he's never watched porn.
Yeah, like he has no idea. Well, I mean, it was the 80s. It was a lot harder to get to, but,
that man had it on his fan boat.
Oh, of course.
On his rowboat.
He's sitting there staring at them, and then he goes and kills them, but then, as you said, he stops to enjoy the comedy stylings of Phyllis Diller. So...
And then Rostov says, 18 hours from now, America will be a different place. Ooh, scary. It's so scary.
And before that, we cut to the police who are now on the beach. And by the way, reporter lady is there. Reporter lady somehow is at the exact scene, because I guess nothing else happens to be happening in Miami. And here's the thing that I found really funny is the police are like, well, this wasn't drug smugglers. And I'm like, you fucking think drug smugglers are going to come in on goddamn... What are those, the boats that the fucking Normandy troops came on, like?
Oh, yeah, those were crazy.
Yeah, and I also should notice, by the way, there are extras on the beach in fucking bikinis.
In bikinis, yes.
Yes, so
How's
even
that
though...
for safety measures on set?
Even though the police have closed off the beach and no one can go onto it, there are people just like, hey, you know, whatever, man. It's a nice day and we're in Miami.
It's true.
You know, so we cut now to the ultimate Christmas scene. A warm-looking, like...
That's what I wrote. My entire life, Christmas, because we both grew up in places where there are 4 seasons.
Yeah.
So Christmas in tropic weather is always so unsettling to me. Like, it just isn't right. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, it's like this whole fucking supposed to be, if you had not put up Christmas lighting and a Christmas tree, you would not know that was, like, at this point, up until this part in the film, you do not know it's supposed to be December.
No, you don't.
You know, so Rostov goes and starts blowing up a whole bunch of suburban houses, just to be a dick, I guess.
Yes.
You know.
He just blows up everyone around.
Yes, with his his rocket launcher. Well, I guess it's more an RPG, but it shoots 6 times in a row without reloading.
Without reloading, yes, I noticed that.
What's really funny about that scene, by the way, which I like to call when Rostov stole Christmas.
Rostov stole Christmas.
Yes. So the thing about that scene is that those were actual real houses that they were blowing up.
What? See,
Yes.
I even wrote, like, how much did it cost production to blow up all those houses?
Oh, no, well, here's what happened, was those houses were going to be demolished.
What?
Yeah, because apparently they were building, like, a highway through there, so all those people lost their homes to public domain, not public domain, eminent domain. Eminent domain. So all those people had lost their homes to eminent domain, so no one actually lived there anymore. So... being that the government was going to bulldoze those houses anyway, Chuck Norris's people paid to have them just blow them up as part of the scene.
That's amazing.
Yeah, in fact, the same thing with the mall scene later on. That mall was going to be reconstructed because they were going to do a whole new wing of it. So they were allowed to just wreck everything.
That's amazing. Why can't people just give us those things?
I'm not going to comment on a public forum. That might have been the case on something, but I'm not going to say any further.
Yes,
but, you know, and I love how, Nico can't actually shoot the houses.
Yeah.
It's like I look at this character and I'm like, wow, he had a sad childhood. There's just so much baggage on this dude.
So much baggage.
So then we go to a whole bunch of good Cubans, and you know they're good Cubans because, number one, they are not sweating, and they are speaking English.
They're in wife beaters and
Yes.
super muscly.
Yes. And then a bunch of Miami cops who turn out to actually be terrorists go and kill them.
Yep.
And so here's the thing that I kept noticing, and maybe I haven't actually taken the time to look this up yet, but do Miami police cars, are they just a white car with Miami police written on the side with a number?
I don't know. I've been there, but I didn't really encounter the police.
Because those did not look like real police cars. They look like someone just took a stencil.
I mean, they probably did. We'll have to research this. More on listeners.
Yeah. So, those people shoot, the terrorists shoot the good Cubans.
Because the good Cubans have to die.
Oh, and the reporter is there. The reporter,
everywhere.
For no reason, happens to be there when, at the random, quesadilla, whatever the fuck it is.
Quesadilla,
I don't know. I was raised by white people. I don't know what the terms are.
So it's like it's a nightclub, and they just rampage and blow everything up, and the one white person there is the reporter, and she's there, and she's for no reason. Of course,
Yeah. So, at that point, we see Chuck Norris driving down a seedy-looking street, going past a whole bunch of service industries, like drugs and prostitution, and for some reason, no one wants his business.
No, I know. It's crazy. That scene was nuts. It was just this long pan down the street with all these fucking crazy people. Chuck Norris getting that same fucking look on his face.
Yeah, and they're all just like throwing things at the car and yelling, "We don't want you here! Get the fuck out!" And it's like, why are they yelling at that? He does not appear to be a law enforcement officer. At first I thought maybe it was a racial thing, but there are certainly white hookers on that street.
Yes, there were.
So, and white drug dealers, so I have no idea why everyone suddenly does not like Chuck Norris and is directing all of their hatred towards him.
Yep. It's because it's Chuck Norris. They just know it's Chuck Norris.
Yes, well, he goes to a sleazy bar where there's a very dad-looking dude who basically tells him he's not permitted in there. And you can tell he's bad because he's sweating.
He is sweating.
And Chuck Norris breaks a beer bottle into his hand. The guy does not scream.
Nope, he does not scream whatsoever.
Does not do anything to further get Chuck Norris out. He just, well, alright, I guess I'm just going to go to the bathroom and clean my wound now. You know, so we now cut to another bad person. Once again, you can tell he's bad because he is brown and sweating. And he is trying to get with a hooker, or at least a woman of loose morals of some sort.
Yes, a loose moral woman.
And Chuck Norris is waiting in his room for him, stabs the guy through the hand. Two big dudes, one of which who is so jacked he looks like he's going to fucking explode. Come up to the door, Chuck Norris kicks the one guy, and they all just like fucking freak out. Like, oh no, we can't handle this one skinny white dude kicking me in the chest.
Yes, exactly.
Even though my chest is the size of a fucking tank and I probably wouldn't feel this fucking kick. You know, so at that point, we find out they blow up the dude's car, and now we know they're really going after America because they're going after that.
That guy just finished waxing his red Corvette.
Exactly.
And they blew it up.
Yep. And then it immediately goes to the attack on that most fundamental of American institutions, the shopping mall.
The shopping mall. Toyland at the shopping mall.
Yes. So we see a tall white dude who I assume is supposed to be East German or Russian.
Yes.
Who has really bad posture. Did you notice that?
I felt like he was just standing up so straight that I thought there was something wrong with him.
Yeah, like his posture was just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
So, they start blowing shit up in the mall, but Chuck Norris drives through
the mall.
Yeah, drives through the fucking mall. Now, later on, we learn that somehow the guy who he's handy stabbed told Chuck Norris about the mall. I don't recall him ever telling Chuck Norris about the mall.
That did not happen.
Yeah,
I noticed that too. That didn't happen.
Maybe it's a deleted scene or something, but he did at no point. He asked, "Where is he?" And then somehow knows that the mall's going to get blown up. So, and oh my god, he goes to the parking lot, and who's in the fucking parking lot but the reporter?
But the reporter's everywhere. She's just omnipresent.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe the reporter is Chuck Norris's guardian angel.
Probably.
Maybe we're not reading enough into it, and
that's fine. I'm fine with not reading enough into it.
Yeah. So. So what happens then is the terrorist dude steals one of those cars in the mall. And they start driving off, and he grabs this woman as a hostage. Now, I have to admit, I liked this stunt. I thought that was a pretty cool stunt with the woman.
But it was also hilarious.
Oh, yeah, no, it was ridiculous, but it was still
so funny. And then, so Chuck Norris comes out, right? And he's in this other truck. And notice how all of the bullets, none of them penetrate his truck ever. And he's got the reporter, he's in the car now, and he's got the reporter with him. And they're chasing up to get this hostage.
Oh, Chelsea, before I get to that, there's something I totally forgot.
Okay.
So when they hijack the car, Chuck Norris jumps on the side of the car, and they drive through a whole fucking glass-like door.
Yes, they do.
And Chuck Norris does not have a single cut on him.
No, he does not. He does not. He is glass-proof.
Yes. So as you were saying, so
And
they
God.
kidnap the woman,
So Chuck Norris is in this other Corvette with the reporter somehow, and they finally catch up to the guy who has this random woman in the mall hostage, and she's still flailing around on the outside of this truck. And my favorite shot, because it was fucking hilarious, was when the reporter and this hostage were just reaching for each other, and how it showed the two cars in the frame with them just grasping towards each other. And I was like, I can't handle this. It's so funny.
Oh my God!
But she gets her. She succeeds.
Yeah, and then they drive off and blow up a whole bunch of other cars.
Yes.
So.
Did you notice that they drive by a street called Walker Street? He drives by Walker Street.
Interesting. Even though that was years before Walker, Texas Ranger, maybe he was like, you know what? I should name my character after that street I drove past in Invasion USA.
Right? I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, so at this point, the National Guard start, basically martial law gets declared in Miami.
Yes. And
Chuck Norris sees a roadblock, drives off suspiciously, and no one goes and takes any precaution at all.
No, they don't.
Like they don't seem to notice that this guy just, they're looking for terrorists who could be dressed as anybody.
Mm-hmm. You might as well just blow up everyone.
Yeah, but they do not. But they take no heed to this guy who sees the roadblock and then skids off really suspiciously.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Who is then surrounded by a bunch of terrorists who are also a National Guard, jeeps and vehicles.
Tanks. There are so many tanks in this film too.
Oh well, I'm sure they got a discount on tanks.
I'm sure they got. It's Chuck Norris. He got a discount on tanks. Oh, so I was watching this movie. I had told Charles, but I didn't go into detail. I was watching this movie with my mother's boyfriend, who is 79 and loves this movie. Right. Mm-hmm. So at this point, he said, all these Russians and Cubans are everywhere, and Chucky's gonna stop them all. And then he went, I'm sorry, that's the ending.
That's not just the ending, that's the plot.
It was really funny.
That is the entire plot. So then these guys, because obviously they're godless communists, yes. Decide that they're going to go and blow up a church, that Chuck Norris happens to be right there. I'm really surprised the reporter wasn't there.
The reporter wasn't there, but also I wrote down, even as a practicing Catholic, how stupid can you be when this happens, to go to a church? Why would you go to church during this happening?
Yeah, so he manages to stop them, and then the next thing we see is that now there's lines outside supermarkets. Yes. Which, is it's
pretty
very
relevant.
Exactly. It's very relevant for the time we live in. It is pretty much our reality now.
Can I just say also while we move forward is that I just kept thinking in my head, so they're blowing up Miami and the whole idea is in 18 hours the USA will be completely different. Does Rostov and his men realize that they are just blowing up one city in one state?
Well, in fairness, if you listen to the radio, they say that there are things happening all over the country.
I did not listen to that.
Yeah, at one point, the terrorists, I'll get to this in a second, but they talk about on 125th Street, they're shooting people.
Oh, I did hear that.
Yeah, so it's happening all over the country, which makes the climax of the film even more ridiculous, by the way. But we'll get to that. So there's all these, there's this whole line where people are waiting, for food, and then, of course, Nico shows up. Nico's... Yeah, Nick, what's his name? Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh, well. But anyway, he shows up, and he's going to shoot all the people waiting for fucking groceries.
Yes, he is. Because why not? That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. So then Chuck Norris somehow knows exactly where he is.
Uh-huh.
And drives there. But the thing that I always found funny is by the time everyone aims their weapons, it's a good 10 seconds between aiming their weapons and him noticing Chuck Norris is driving at him.
Yeah, you're right.
But of course he can't shoot because the reporter is there. And the reporter...
Of course, she has immunity.
Yes, the reporter has plot armor.
Yes.
So...
The acting in this is really just atrocious. It's not Veronica level, but it's almost there.
Oh, no. So he kills Nico by... Nico is holding the reporter hostage, because of course he is.
Yeah, you gotta do that at some point.
And Chuck Norris basically takes his gun and makes him shoot himself. But he shoots himself in a way where there is no blood. There is no muzzle flash.
Yep.
And the reporter is not deafened by a gun going off 6 inches from her ears.
Yes, exactly. I loved that. I said, "Are you kidding me?"
Like, let's be honest. In fact, quite honestly, she'd be dead. If someone has their head next to my head, and someone shoots me in the head, they will die too.
Yes.
Bullets do not just stop once they get to. Like,
he must have had a really thick skull.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's why he had such a sad childhood. Who knows?
Yes, definitely.
So we now learn that school buses full of children are being sent off to the country. They never specify where exactly.
Where they're going. Yeah, and the only song they know how to sing is "Row Your Boat."
Yeah, like I don't know if it's some pedophile has gotten a good deal or something at a farm or whatever's going on, but they just say they're driving to the country. Okay.
To make them safe. Yes.
Yes. So what ends up happening is a bunch of terrorists decide that they're going to go and blow up the school bus. And they do so by running over one of the highway attendants. Mm-hmm. And they have a bomb, and they're going to, it's C4, and they're going to put the C4 on the side of the bus. And Chuck Norris happens to be there.
Of course he does.
Just
happens to know that there's a bomb attached to the bus.
But here's my other favorite part. Number one, well, actually, a couple things about this scene. So none of the children notice a screeching car coming up to the side of...
They're too busy rowing their boats.
Yes. Somehow singing Row, Row Your Boat is louder than a car. I can hear, if you and I were to sing Row, Row Your Boat, I bet you those trucks outside your place would still be louder than us.
Yes. Yes.
But somehow these people don't notice that. But what I do find funny is, so they ran over one of the highway attendants to go to the school bus.
Naturally.
Yet when Chuck Norris is driving, the highway attendants are acting as though nothing is wrong.
Nothing is wrong. Like, they didn't even see it. They had no idea it happened.
Yeah, one of their coworkers just got ran over in what looks like in front of 40 witnesses.
What do you mean? What happened?
And they're all like, well, I guess that's just the price we pay for being American.
A dick anyway.
Yeah, so basically, Chuck Norris saves the kids, and then we immediately cut in a really jarring cut to a amusement park.
Yeah, well, yes, but he blows up this car, too, before we go to the amusement. Yeah. He puts the bomb on a car, so it's Chucky and the bomb! And then that blows up, and then abruptly we're at an amusement park.
Yeah, and here's the thing that got me. So you find out that at this amusement park, the terrorists blew up the Ferris wheel. Mm-hmm. But why is the carnival still open?
Wait, it was open?
Why else would people be on the Ferris wheel? He talked about how they were like, well, you saved the school bus, and he's like, well, that didn't help these children. So the place must have been open.
It was open until they got blown up.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
They're under martial law.
Yeah,
they shipped the children out.
They shipped the children out. They're under martial law, yet somehow the carnivals are not only open, but not the Ferris wheel, the merry-go-round. The merry-go-round is open and filled with children.
Yeah, because that's naturally a safe haven where no terrorist would ever go to blow up kids if they wanted to.
So now basically Chuck Norris has to have a plan. So Chuck Norris has a plan. And his plan involves putting on the news that there's 50 governors who are all going to gather in one place at once.
That's smart.
And then he has himself announced as being arrested and somehow taken to the same place as 50 governors, because that's certainly where you want to take a vigilante.
Yes, of course.
Is the place where all the important people are there, but it's all so that Rostov can be lured there. And I just thought it literally, the only thing he didn't do to lure him was just have a sign that says free blowjobs.
Free blowjobs, yes.
That
would have been my idea.
And so Rostov is not only going to go there to kill Chuck Norris, but he decides... Now keep in mind, these terrorists are attacking all over the country. There are riots happening and things blowing up, and all 50 states are being affected somehow. So his idea is, let's get everyone to come to one centralized area so that we can kill 51 people.
Yes.
That's really what his plan boils down to.
That's really it.
Is let's go and stop all of our terrorist shit so that we can kill 51 people, and the one person who kicked me in the face one time.
One time. It still hurts.
Yes. See, if Rostov really, really wanted to stop things, he'd kill the reporter.
You're right. That would just turn the whole movie upside down. Maybe then it'd be a decent film.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So because Rostov is just like a shitty strategist. There's a whole speech from Nico earlier, who's all like, "They can't do this without you. Without you, this all falls apart." And I kept thinking, why? He's an awful strategist. In fact, Rostov is pretty fucking incompetent. He's pretty incompetent throughout the entire fucking movie. The only thing he did was he blew up a bunch of suburban houses. He blew up he blew up a bunch of suburban houses. And then he fucking, he killed a hooker and threw her out a window and shot a guy in the dick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What else could you possibly accomplish in life and be more proud of? Nothing.
Yeah, so, a whole bunch of his dudes, they raid the place, they start shooting up all the office furniture.
They shoot with nobody is there. They shoot at nobody in several frames in several different rooms.
Yeah. And somehow the army is all outside. Then pretty much at this point the army kills them, and then Rostov and Chuck Norris have a rocket launcher duel.
Yes, it's a rocket launcher duel, because how else could you possibly destroy your enemy?
In about an area of about 4 feet.
Yes. Does this make sense?
Which would totally blow up Chuck Norris too, but hey.
No, Chuck is invincible. He's rocket launcher and glass proof.
Yeah, so he blows up Rostov, and then the movie just ends.
Yeah, it's just over. It's like it pans back to him, and then it's just over. He has the same face. There's no heroism. He's not heroic at all. And he just has the same face, and is in the same denim outfit, head to toe, that he's been in the whole fucking film, and then the movie's just over. Yeah,
and he kicked Rostov a lot. He beat Rostov a lot, and Rostov got 0 offense in.
Yes.
And it was just like, why are you worried about this dude?
Chuck Norris was never really in danger.
At any point in the movie
at all. There were no stakes for the protagonist at all. He was never in danger.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with the film, I think, is that at no point do you believe Chuck Norris ever has any stakes. There is no danger for him. There is no stakes. There is no tension. Yeah. It's just a G.I. Joe episode for right-wing Americans is really what the film is. And so I guess in closing, how would you say this movie could have been improved? I guess stakes.
Stakes. If you're going to invest that much in weapons and stuff like that, get some squibs and teach people how to die on camera.
So in closing then, tell us about you said that you wanted to touch on how people don't know how to die on camera.
Yes, so it really, you can just sum it all up with the one guy who got shot in the dick and didn't do anything. That generally happened the entire film. There were no reactions. People just died. They flailed. This one guy got shot in the head, and he just flailed his arms around. His head didn't go backward or anything. Where was their stunt coordinator? They had to have paid a shit ton of money in order to do all these things with these weapons. And these actors, these extras, were not taught how to die on camera. If you get shot in the head, you're going back first with your head.
I can tell you from what I read, the mall scene alone cost $5 million.
Jesus fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
See what I did? Because it's Christmas time.
There you go. But yeah, so I think that there's a lot of problems with this film. It's not Veronica bad, and I really did like the stunt with the woman on the outside of the of the Jeep. That was a cool stunt, even if the context around it was stupid.
Yeah.
That was still a cool stunt.
It made me want to put drive through a shopping mall in a car on my bucket list of things to do as an actor, blow up a helicopter as an actor. There was some cool shit in here. I didn't hate it, and I hated it that I didn't hate it. I hated myself for not hating it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's not a great film, but you know what? Veronica was kind of a last-minute thing because Veronica is in the public eye.
Yes.
And so I felt that should definitely be our first episode, but we're going to be going downwards. Our next episode, in fact, is a so much worse movie. For our next episode, we're going to handle Left Behind, which is a movie about the rapture. Now, here's the thing. You may know of the Nicolas Cage version, where Nicolas Cage is a pilot who is on a plane when the rapture happens, but we're not even going to do the Nicolas Cage version. because the Nicolas Cage version is actually the better version of this
that's
movie.
terrifying.
We're going to do the Kirk Cameron version. So,
I hate this.
well, tune in next time.
For everyone. Yeah,
Exactly. Tune in next time when we will handle Left Behind. All right, I'm Charles D. Lincoln.
I'm Chelsea Lucey. Thank you for listening. Bye.